Now, did you have any ups and downs in the flipping process? Were there any days that you were like, Carol, what did we do?
Well, I think every morning I wake up about 3 a.m., like 3 a.m. going, why did I leave my W-2? It'd be, part of it is if you can make $300,000 a year on a W-2 that's doesn't drain you and it's actually fun, like that's really easy. But that's kind of the easy way out is just show up. It kind of, even if you didn't really do anything that day, yet still the paycheck still shows up. It's really mentally hard. Like if the paycheck's going to go show up, you got to really show up and actually do the work. And I struggle with that even to this day. So that's why I go back to like probably 97% of the people should maybe do this as a side hustle and really not try to do it full time because it is so challenging mentally. You really have to have that strong why. Like, why are you doing this? What is the reason you're going to take 15, 20 hours away from your family to go try to do either launch a business or do real estate? What's the reason to do it? If you don't really have a good reason, you're probably not going to stick with it because finding deals can be challenging where the numbers make sense, especially in today's market.
So, are you primarily just sending out mailers and following up with phone calls?
Yeah, we send out mailers and I cold call them. Sometimes I run a triple line dialer and call three numbers at once and see which one picks up and just start having conversations. We have targeted lists. We got everything's available up here in Wisconsin electronically on the court access system. So you can get probate, you can get pre-foreclosures, and you can get the list pretty cheap. And then you can go skip trace very quickly and go cold. But going back to, sticking in a W-2, the whole reason is like I just love the time freedom. I just want to be able to take off. I don't like things on the calendar. I don't like commitments like that. Other than, I'm fine with a couple coaching calls and stuff like that. But the time freedom for me is the real reason at this point. And that my strongest why was I wanted to have that time freedom and I wasn't going to get it. So that was my why. That's why I drove around on Saturdays looking for houses, driving for dollars, looking for houses with the kids at home, Carol at home. Like I'm taking time away from the family to do that. But if I go back 15, 20 years ago and we're sitting at the water park and the kids are 4 years old and I'm looking at options trades going, shit, I hope it sells for a nickel, right? Even though I'm into it for 20 bucks, right? And not having fun with the family because I'm stressing about that. I'm like, that's not a way to go about it. And there are definitely different ways to go about it. I have no idea if I answered your question because I don't even know what your question was, Kevin.
I totally spaced out.
All right.
um, no, I think that's true because usually, so as men especially, right, we're primarily the ones out working, we're out hunting, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's W-2. Obviously women work as well in this space, but it's one of the male roles that we take on as the provider. And some of that, when you are a employee, you are the W-2, um, but you might have a bad leader or a demanding boss or something like that. So you take on all this burden that's not really yours to carry, so you might, if that email shows in at 9 p.m., you might drop all your family stuff to handle it. Or how can I prepare for tomorrow? Or, you know, I know a lot of jobs are, especially nowadays, because when people are fighting for the same jobs, there's a lot of demand. So employers, if they're not of good character, could offer less and demand more for that same position. Entry levels are pretty easy, but some of those leadership, like, feel like they're totally stealing from people's lives.
Yeah,
Have you come across that?
yeah, 100%. Now that never really occurred in like I've been very lucky. Like my whole, 30 years in the corporate world from, 2000 to, or when was it? 1990 to 2020. So what is that, 30 years? I never had a bad boss. I never had a bad job. I never had that. Like I never experienced that. But I know that's real. But there's a book out there called Essentialism that I read, and that really shifted my paradigm of the corporate world. And that's where the idea of being an entrepreneur, being a consultant in your job. So if you think about it, so this is for the people that like, I don't know if I really want to do this side hustle thing. How can I take my corporate job and do better is you got to think of yourself as a consultant and like I'm disposable, like they could get rid of me. But I'm going to make myself so valuable by only doing the things that I know truly bring value to the company and then talking about that.